Aloha and welcome to All Good Things and All Good Time, where it's a great day to be alive. It's nice to say that because when you say it, you remind yourself of what you should be thinking. Right? Is this zoomed in? No. Okay. And life is all good. I have been on hold now with YouTube for 1 hour and 50 minutes. Hoping I did get a number. They have this user support card that apparently you can only get if you drive to the YouTube headquarters, because there's no phone number out there for YouTube. There's no such thing as customer service. I'm trying to find some. I can't monetize my channel. The first roadblock is it says I can't do it where I live, and I suspect that it's not the case, that if you live in Hawaii that prohibits you from monetizing your YouTube channel. But if it does, then I'm learning something the hard way. And I guess ultimately I have to go onto other platforms, which I don't really want to do. It took me years to just get the courage, the gumption, and the the ability to post videos on YouTube. That took me a long time to overcome because I was kind of hesitant. It was an unfamiliar world. And so, I've been working on this for 3 years, 650 videos produced. I don't know how good they are, but nevertheless, it's been an investment of time and effort, and I now have 5 times the subscribers necessary to monetize. I have 50 times the number of hours watched necessary. I have almost 1 million views, and I still have yet to figure out any kind of connection to YouTube. If I could get a customer service person, they could fix all my problems in about 60 seconds. Take my bank information down, take my new email address that wasn't ransomwared. Anyway, after having my email ransomed and me saying screw you, I'm just going to give up on that email. I can't do two-step verification, and I cannot get into it because it says I live like in a foreign country. Where you live, it's not possible. Anyway, so thanks for watching my YouTube channel. I do not make any money from this. I probably never will. So all you nice people on GoFundMe and Venmo who have supported my channel and my recovery from the fire, I can't thank you enough. It is amazing the kindness that people have showed. It's not like I've made a lot of money, but I made enough to support my life for about the last 2 months from you all. And now I'm going to start receiving unemployment for the next year, and that is how I'm going to survive, it looks like. FEMA doesn't give a damn. Red Cross is a little bit helpful. They're the only organization that's being helpful. Everyone else is stealing your money. The churches, the nonprofits. I received $1,000 from a fund. $1,000, if you don't know simple math, 1,000 thousands is 1 million. There's 7,000 of us. So if I receive $1,000, that means that represents $7 million of people's well-intended contributions. And I'm pretty sure a little bit more than $7 million has been collected, right? I hear of 100 million here, 100 million there, 100 million there, right? Jeff Bezos 100 million, Oprah Winfrey 100 million. I don't know. Anyway, people are going to need help down the road, so that's why we're going to keep that money. Whatever. You people who have sent money to people directly are the only ones who've actually helped people. All you people who donated to a fund or an organization, although guy across the street here in my mom's retirement community donated money to the Maui Food Bank, and that is probably one of the purest organizations that exists. Maybe one of the only ones you can really trust. So I applaud that effort. But god dang. So wouldn't it be great if I was interrupted by a customer service person from YouTube 1 hour and 53 minutes into waiting for someone? Anyway, so I don't have anything prepared, but I have a lot to talk about. I guess. We'll see how much I have to talk about, actually. I'll be headed back in 2 days to the war zone, to my hotel room, hopefully. Red Cross has been telling me that they're not going to kick me out, so hopefully I'll be able to go right back to the room I left. A friend of mine, my friend Spud's down at the Hyatt, he's been put up. I've heard there's a three-step phase come back to life for the West for business tourism. They're going to open up the Upper West Side, Kapalua, the Ritz-Carlton. I used to work at the Ritz-Carlton, where the Montage is in the Peely Bay, maybe, where I could go to work, maybe. Been offered a job there, but anyway, and then after that, they're going to open up Mahina Kahana area, I guess. That's like middle. Gotta understand there's about 7 miles of, or 6, maybe 5 miles of stuff left. Like, the west side of Maui is 10 miles wide. At one end is Lahaina, the other end is Kapalua. Lahaina's burned out, and then there's a gap of just nothing for about 2 miles. And 5 miles away from Lahaina is Ka'anapali, right, where I'm staying, where a lot of us are staying, and they're going to kick us out for you tourists ultimately at some point, as soon as they can, probably. And the thought of going to work to serve others when you just, everyone's so shattered. I am shattered. I'm going back to my shattered life. I got nothing. I don't have shoes. And yeah. And the loss of life. Oh my God. My friend Frank Trejos. Love that guy. Worked with him for 10 years. Just found out he was swallowed up by the flames and smoke. Great guy. Worked with him at the Hula Grill. For 10 years. Great guy. Anyways, Frank Trejos, love you. So, yeah, and thanks to all of you people. I mean, other than my mother, I don't have, like, everyone who's shown me support, encouragement, financial help, have been friends, sometimes old friends, co-workers, strangers. I don't have, like, strangers and friends have shown up in a way that I could never have imagined. And interestingly, I don't have any family members that are even interested in finding out if I'm alive after my town burns down, let alone wanting to help in any way. I mean, but just the people who cared enough to reach out to find out if I was alive, you know, it meant a lot. Anyway, I just drove down to Oakland and shipped off my car. So even if I have to live out of it, I have a kick-ass car to live out of. I've got a freaking, it's 5 years old, but it's a brand new Camry. Top of the line, 2018. It's been sitting in my mom's garage. She can't drive anymore, so she sold it to me. And I had purchased that before I left, or before the fire, so that was great. And that'll enable me to give my car away or sell it for $500 or $1,000. I might do that. I might take $1,000 for it, but it's a pretty good, reliable car. It's going to need a little help. It's a Toyota Camry hybrid. It's got 15 years on it, and it'll need a new battery system. But I mean, once it gets that new battery system, which costs about $4,000, it'll last another 20 years, you know, at least. It'll be a very reliable car for someone. And who knows how long that battery will last. Maybe it'll last a little longer than it's supposed to, but the batteries are supposed to last about 15 years. and it has 15 years on it. So I'm not totally doing someone a favor by giving them this car, because it's going to need a little bit of help. But it's a Toyota Camry, a solid car, period. And I have friends that need cars, so it'll feel real good to give it away, or get real close to giving it away. And that's all being brought on by your generosity. I'm giving this car away because you people gave me money, and so what better thing to do with it? Just finished, as you may be aware, just drove across the United States and back with my children. We visited 2 grandmothers, 4 cousins. My brother and I got to spend time together. That was really cool. He's had probably the only thing happen to someone that's tougher than having your house burned down. And my brother's had a stroke, and part of his body's gone numb, and you know, it's the same thing in a different way. It's like having the rug underneath you pulled out, right? Just when you think you're standing on a firmly nailed down rug, someone yanks it out from under you or something, right? And that happens in many ways in our lives. It can be a divorce, it can be the loss of somebody, it can be the loss of your whole town and people, and it could be a stroke, it could be someone you trusted deceiving you, showing you that they had been conning you, a liar. You know, there's different ways to have the rug pulled out from under you, and it is the one thing that devastates a human being. If you ever watch the show Hoarders, every person who's become a hoarder once had some emotionally devastating thing happen where their rug was pulled out from under them, and they just never recovered. And then the physical manifestation of that happening is that house full of shit. So, price of gas across the United States starts out in California $5 a gallon. Arizona is like $4 a gallon. New Mexico's like $3.80. Texas is like $3.60. Arkansas $3.50. Missouri $3.60. Tennessee, cheapest gas in the country at $3.03 a gallon, $3.13. Yeah, so, and then I've posted all the rest. East Coast, New Jersey's pretty good, $3.60 New Jersey. Virginia was pretty good. Anyway, and so on. Hawaii's the worst. California's second worst. Oregon wasn't that great either. That was $4.50. Utah was $4.15. Those are the worst ones. $5 in California. But then, you know, if you go to a remote gas station in California, $5 becomes $5.99 or $6.89. I stopped at a place in between Barstow and Nowhere, and it was $6.89 a gallon. Like, compared to just having paid $3.03 in Tennessee at, you know, a truck stop, which is going to have some of the lowest gas prices. It's just interesting, right? I suppose if you want to criticize California for price of gas being high, that's a valid critique. Right? It is expensive, and so on. And if they're gonna tax your gosh darn gas that much, you need to make nicer rest stops. You need to invest in those things. You need to take the freaking truckers' lots and blow them out 4 times as big. You need to create a interior shelter that people can seek refuge in case the elements outside are so brutal, which we all now know can happen anywhere and everywhere, whether it's 100-mile-an-hour winds, you know, 20 below, whatever it is. A lot of the rest stops across the country have interior space with like a weather channel on a flat screen. The method to do this is simple. You have someone working there 24 hours a day, right? Every 8 hours, a new person comes on, and they are eyes and ears for the place. If there's any problems or riffraff, they can call the police. They can stop or prevent, vandalism and vagrancy and whatever it is, the state might be concerned about at their rest stops. But they're unsafe when there's nobody there, and they can become unclean and vandalized and all the rest. So that's for you politicians who don't quite understand what it takes to make the roads safe. It takes rest stops every 40 miles, maybe 30, okay? Because people get drowsy. They are going to fall asleep at the wheel and kill each other. It's horrible, and there's nothing worse than states with, like Oklahoma has one on the edge of Oklahoma, and then it's like 300 plus miles long, and you don't see another one until halfway into the panhandle of Texas. It's like 350 miles or something. I don't know how far. No rest stops. That's not good. And then there's situations like you leave Albuquerque headed west. You see a rest stop in 59 miles or shit. You're like, oh, good, okay. I'm gonna drive about an hour. If I get drowsy, I got a refuge, right? This is in Nevada too. Closed rest stops are just evil. They're a danger to America. So you get 50 miles down the road, you're thinking, I'm falling asleep. Thank God there's a rest stop coming. Thanks, New Mexico. Oh no, and then you get there and it's closed. Oh, thanks. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for making the roads really unsafe. That's what does it, right? You promise people a rest stop, and then when they get there, it's closed, and they're already falling asleep at the wheel. What about truckers? And state troopers, CHP, they need to stop hassling truckers who are forced to park all over the damn place because there's no place for them. And after 8 hours, they have to stop, take a 30-minute break, no matter where they are, and then they're allowed 3 more hours. And then they got to stop. They can't keep going. So wherever they are, they just got to stop. And you got to be compassionate. My God, do you have any idea how hard it is to drive 8 and then 3 hours? Oh, I mean, I would do a lot of hours in a given day, but I sleep all the time and pull over at every rest stop, pull over at truck stops, pull over to eat. You got to pull over and, get your head together and your body together constantly. Otherwise, you will have problems. Oh, let's see. How we doing on that YouTube channel, customer service? 2 hours, 7 minutes now. This is the music. I wonder if it's copyrighted. Maybe this episode will be copyrighted, or maybe they'll pull it down, or maybe they'll unsubscribe you. By the way, if you want to punish me by unsubscribing, go ahead. I don't give a shit. There's real things in this world, and social media shit isn't really that real to me. Okay, especially caring about how many subscribers or whatever, all right? My God. So, yeah, if you don't like my politics, I don't give a shit. Please unsubscribe. Go watch one of those fucking traitors that'll lie to you and tell you freaking weird bullshit like Chipino or Chowder or freaking Candace freaking Cracker. Oh, my God. It's hysterical. Then there's all you conspiracy theorists. Holy fucking shit. Everywhere I go across this country, everyone's curious. Do you think Oprah caused the fires? Did Oprah start the fires? Duh. Jesus fucking Christ. There were 1,000 power lines down. There were 100-mile-an-hour winds that came before they turned the power off. 100-mile-an-hour winds that came before the power was turned off, which did what? It tore up rooftops and it ripped power lines down. Everywhere. There were 1,000 power lines down. Then there's the desertification, desert, turning into a desert, which is what Lahaina was going through. There's this process by which plants replace their carbon with oxygen molecules when they get super dried out, and then which then make them like flammable, like gasoline, like 10 times more flammable is what happens in the desertification process, which is what my daughter thinks is the reason this all happens. And she recognized it years ago and actually tried to alert politicians that that was happening and it would make us vulnerable. It's an interesting backstory. So if you ask my daughter what the cause of this all was, it was the desertification of Maui, or of the west side. So that's that. There's a theory for you. But that doesn't mean that there might not be some strange explanation for why the power, why I met a guy said he heard the power was turned back on and that was the wrong thing to do. That caused it, or what was the rationale for cars being blocked from going north? Were there power lines down? Is that the rationale they were using for not letting cars back out onto the highway? Because that does seem pretty sad and brutal to not be letting people escape north. So, and I've seen that video. If you've seen my videos, you've seen me walking around the fire zone when the fire was happening early at 4:30 in the afternoon. You see police cars going by without their sirens on, without evacuating people. So, and no sirens from the kind. So, what's the rationale? What's the explanation for that? Not going to jump to a conspiracy theory until I hear the justification, the rationale. I'm sure there's people that were part of all of these things that happened. Everything said on every radio was recorded. I haven't heard any of that yet. But when I get back there, I'm going to study everything I can. I'm going to try to find access to the tapes of the people corresponding, right? Like we've seen that in other situations where they examine the correspondence of the firemen, the emergency responders, the policemen, right? The command center. I'm guessing there was just nobody there that day, and they don't want to admit it, right? So that's the whole command center question. I don't know. I haven't been there. People are trying to suss out all the facts and details, but it makes me sick. These people from outside of our town trying to claim they know anything about anything, because they don't. There's nobody that isn't from the west side that knows anything. Okay? So I'm going to find the people who know the shit from the west side, and I'll report the real shit to you, whatever that is. Okay? I'll interview people that allow me to. I'll post their interviews, and I'm going to try to write a book. I'm going to collect every theory about everything and just cover all angles of it, but not as someone who's just going to instantly believe anybody's bullshit without it being freaking verified, right? So I will go to work on the ground, talking to the right people and finding out everything I can to bring you the truth. Because, oh my God, everywhere I go in this country, I just drove, through 25 states, and everywhere you go, people are like, hey, do you think Oprah Winfrey started the fire? It's like, what the fuck are you people talking about? No, she didn't cause the wind that caused the power lines to go down, to cause the spark that hit the freaking desertified, freaking flammable, freaking grass that torched our town. Okay, but why did the water run out? Why didn't we make a greater effort to bring more resources there over time? If you watch my video, the 4-minute video at 8 o'clock at night when a woodpile catches fire, that was before all the homes to the left of it, right? Across from the football field is a neighborhood that none of it had burned yet. There was stuff on the coast, on Front Street, that had come down. Other parts of Lahaina had burned, but that whole neighborhood hadn't even burned yet. My neighborhood hadn't even burned yet. It was 8:15 at night. And then it got torched and went up in 3 minutes. But that was 4 hours after I filmed my first video. You could put fire engines on military planes on Oahu and fly them over in 30 minutes and drive to the scene in 35 minutes. In an hour, you could get them from getting onto a plane to the fire site with water tankers, and a couple of them could have saved whole sections and the people that burned to death inside of them. I listened to people screaming to death because they were being engulfed in fire and smoke. As I was running, right after I cut off that 4-minute video, that's what I heard. And that could have been avoided. What were the cops saying to one another? I gotta say, in their defense, they tried to evacuate my community twice. I hid, didn't leave, because I'm the gritty person who's gonna stay there till the last second. And I would have fought that fire if there's any water in my fire hose, in the neighborhood hoses. I'd have been at the neighbors on the corner using their hose to defend our neighborhood. Like Savara and I did previously, we saved our neighborhood once before. The one-time fire almost hit our house. So that's a big question. The water being shut off, and then the lack of resource, and the quiet nature that everything was happening. If you watch my video, the one that has 175,000 views right now, it shows you the silence, the utter strange silence. It's hard to understand. What is the explanation? Was the cop in the car just freaking out saying, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, or what? I mean, maybe they were panicked, for all I know. No one knew what anyone was doing. It was all just so surreal and crazy and devastating and sad, and you just knew that what was going on in that smoke was horrible. Anyway, yeah, there's a bunch of truck stops that put the pet area for your pets between the parking lot for cars and trucks and the interstate highway. There'd be a strip of grass, there'd be pet area over here. It's like, who wants to let their pet out by the freeway or let them play around there? Like, a lot of other pet areas were a lot more sensible. That's one thing that's just kind of weird. As I drove across the United States. God. I think all these things I should or could be reporting on, and then now I'm doing this, and anyway. Oh. My brother was nice enough to restore my dad's watch. This nice Omega watch, new crystal, new insides. It's like a 60-year-old Omega. I think it's worth like $1,500. He said he had it appraised. I think he spent some money getting it fixed, but this will be the one thing I ever got from my father, and I'd be happy to sell it. If someone wants to buy this nice watch. I don't have it. My dad nor I have huge bones, so if you got a thick wrist, you might have to have it refitted. But it's a nice watch, and I'll be trying to figure out how to sell that. So I can buy some clothes and whatnot. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, going back to the danger zone. It's really weird because I've been really well distracted from most of that, and now I'm gonna go back to it, and it's already hitting me. It's just not easy to contemplate or whatever. Anyway, for the fun of it, why don't I tell you a couple cool stories from my strange life. And I've been very lucky, very lucky. My whole life is full of good luck, especially when I need it. In fact, here's a good story of that, because it always happens every time. Literally, every time I need good luck. I have some strange angels that are just always there for me. Never not. So, at one point, I went to get gas, stuck my card in the gas pump, and it didn't ask me to take it out, and I left it there. Luckily, I didn't leave the gas station. I pulled forward against, was at a Maverick gas station, and I think one of my kids had to use a restroom. So we pulled up, we parked, and we waited for a minute, and the next person came up, had seen me because they'd been waiting for the pump, and then found my card, walked over to me and said, "Is this your card?" And this is the link that this is the card that I would need to survive this trip. You know, like it has all my money on it. It's my bank card, so, and a Visa card. So, what can I say? The one moment I really needed help, my angels were there for me on this trip. That was the one time I really, really, really needed some good luck, and I absolutely got it. So, thank you. I have faith in things I don't understand, but they always, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's always going to be like that. So just like when I was the last one to leave my neighborhood, if you see my 17-second video, that was 10 seconds before my house caught fire, and I left with seconds to spare. And if I had left any sooner, my friends across the street would not have been there for me to save, because their motorcycle wouldn't start. Maybe there wasn't enough oxygen in the air. But damn it, that's a good way to start a tragedy, by saving. Like, I would have had to mourn those guys' death. That would have been freaking more sadness to have to freaking deal with. And so, gosh darn, that worked out really well. And then, of course, I don't know if you heard the rest of it, but everything that's happened since then has been extraordinarily fortunate, good luck, kind people with positive messages, being helpful in every way, emotionally, you know, financially. My channel has become popular. I didn't want my channel to become popular because of a fire with all my things burning up, but I did hope someday that people would see my channel. And at this point, there's over 600 videos. Most of them are of something interesting, or something, a place you may not know about, or a beautiful scene, or a walk through a town. Who knew that my boring walk through Lahaina town videos, if you haven't found them, there are several videos of me walking through Lahaina in different ways. There's a short one of two people that are drunk, all the way to a 30-minute one where I have the camera on me. There's a 15-minute one of me with the camera in front of me. There's a 8-minute one with the camera in front of me. And then there's the last Halloween ever in Lahaina, right? The last Halloween ever in Lahaina. If you don't know about Halloween in Lahaina, they used to call it the Mardi Gras of the Pacific. And occasionally, year to year, there'd be a tussle between the people wanting to do it and the local government authorities. In other words, most of the years the streets would be shut down, and the cops would be there to help us maintain control without being punitive, you know. And then there'd be years where the politicians were, you didn't get your application in time, and so you know, we're going to allow traffic to go down the street. So you'll see people driving down the street because it's one of those years. Coming out of the pandemic. Hadn't quite asserted ourselves enough to get our streets shut down. But nevertheless, people gave it their best. It's, and to explain the Mardi Gras of the Pacific, starts out with a kids parade, right? And parents and children at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon with the fire department and everybody. It's all wholesome. And then every hour throughout the day it becomes less and less wholesome. You know, by 11 o'clock at night, you might find women walking down the street with this body paint up top, like damn near topless. In other words, right? Like it becomes more and more having the look of debauchery, and some people get drunk and they start walking around a little bit buzzed, and it's a safe place to do that. You know, it's a place you're not going to get robbed and stabbed if you're vulnerable. Most of the time, I presume, anyway. And so yeah, there's still a few places I would have liked to have gone on this trip. I didn't go to Casa Bonita because I heard it was a hassle and impossible. I was going to visit a friend in a place, but then he became busy, so I missed an interview and an uncle, and I skipped over a couple towns I wanted to show you. In the future, I'll show you Ashland, Oregon, and Bend, Oregon. Those are some great towns. And I had to rush through the U.S. I had to skip an aunt in Georgia and a friend in Tennessee, but we were able to visit a cousin in Albuquerque. So we just went from the Smithsonian straight to Albuquerque in 2 days. And if you don't know it, driving is blue-collar work. It's not easy, okay? It's hard. People don't get it. Like, it's stressful. It tires you out. It makes you feel like you're delirious, like you've been on a boat. It's a lot of stuff that other people just don't seem to be sensitive to, which is cool. I don't really care, but just for your sake, if you ever know anybody that does a lot of drive, if you know a truck driver, man, you give them props, right? They are warriors. They do the hardest job ever. Oh, my God. They are just the saints of our country. So, what else? Where else? I'm happy to have shown you Red Rocks, some of the Smithsonian. There's a lot more to that place, and I want to go back and show off that town even more. Remember the first 7 words of the Constitution are, "We the people of the United States." United States, that's right. Oh, here's an interesting detail. The Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights, and a couple of other cabinets with displays are in a very special room in the National Archives building. And all this heavy metal that surrounds them in this big cabinet case, right? Heavy metal. It looks like brass. And no, you would not know otherwise. There's no sign that tells you it, but of course I happen to engage the security guard standing right there in conversation. And she disclosed that whole cabinet, all the cabinets, I mean, we're talking hundreds of pounds of metal, is all solid gold. Like, holy shit, I've never touched this much gold ever, never will again. This is more gold than I'll ever see at one time in my life. It's like, God knows what it's worth. They give you a number, but it's got to be based on old prices of gold, because it's. They said each cabinet's worth $4 million. I bet it's more like 10. And there's 10 of them. So, what else? Oh, so yeah, I got a couple stories. These are snowboard related stories. I was lucky to grow up in a place where, as I became a bad influence on others, there were other kids that were on the same path. When I was a 7th grader, I became friends with a 6th grader. And we were such rotten kids. We were experimenting with cigarettes, alcohol, and weed. I never knew him really well, but we hung out on the Red and Green Bridge, and we smoked pot together many times. And then this kid moved, and he became one of the greatest snowboarders of all time, one of the founders of the sport. In 1989, when I was riding my bicycle across the United States at the age of 20, he was a 19-year-old. I was at a Super 8 motel in South Carolina, headed up 13 and 17 towards Washington, D.C. And there I am watching MTV. And in 1989, both the skateboarding vert champion was Noah Slasnik, and the snowboarding champion in a half pipe, or in that sort of genre, was Noah Slasnik. Noah Slasnik was a national champion in skateboarding and snowboarding in the same year. He also made all the first snowboarding videos. Totally boarding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sims made a snowboard in his honor, and he was paid for that, right? The Sims Noah Slasnik board, which I hope to get one. I've seen them on eBay, and I'm gonna pick one of those up someday. And when I learn how to snowboard finally, I'm gonna try to do it on a Noah Slasnik board. So that's story number one about that, about my connection to this nice kid. Now I never saw him again, except for I worked in Tahoe City, the summers of '95 and '6, at Jake's on the Lake, and Noah was there one night at the Naughty Dog, and I saw him there, and we drank beer together a little bit and talked story a little bit, and that was the one time I saw him since we were in junior high school together. So then that became a nice story to tell when I met the biggest god of freaking snowboarding probably in history, right? His success dwarfs even Noah's. So at Jake's on the Lake in Tahoe City, I had these two co-workers, Jay and Daryl, hardcore snowboarders, damn near good enough to be professional probably, or were probably. There's a lot of guys that are good enough to be professional, but they just like don't need to do contests to be happy, if that makes any sense, right? They're just happy to be snowboarders and let those other guys go try to get medals and become famous, kind of thing, right? And that's kind of how oh, hello, are you there?
Hi.
Oh my god, yes. Oh. Oh, that's fine. Oh, thank you so much. I can't believe I'm talking to a person. Thank you so much for answering the phone. I love you so much. Oh my god. So I don't know if you watch the news, but there's this town in Maui that burned down named Lahaina. Have you heard of that?
No.
You haven't? Okay. No. Okay. So anyway, this town in Hawaii that caught fire, lost every building, 2,000 buildings, and hundreds of people were killed by the fire. And my home was one of those anyway. And so I lost everything in the fire. And I was able to take some videos of things that were happening when the fire was happening. And I'd been working on a YouTube channel for a while with more than 500 videos posted of beautiful things, different kinds of content. It was called All Good Things, so in all good time. So it's a very broad subject. I could put anything on there that's nice. Anyway, it suddenly got almost 1 million views I've had on my channel now. And as you know, I've lost everything. And in order to qualify for monetization, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours watched. I think I have over 100,000 hours watched and 5,000 subscribers at this moment, for whatever that's worth. So, according to the rules, I am capable of monetizing my channel. The only problem is, it's going to be impossible unless I can get a little bit of customer service. Like, I can't. First of all, if I hit the monetize, if I hit, the cash thing, it says. The first roadblock is it says that where I live, people are unable to monetize their channel. And I don't know if it's true, but maybe it is. Maybe people that live in Hawaii are prohibited from monetizing their channels. And if so, then I've just got nothing. There's nothing I can do. But if that's not the case, then I need to figure out how to remove that roadblock. And then the second thing that I need to be able to do is a two-step verification process. But because of one of my emails becoming ransomware, you know how that can happen? Someone hacks your email and then they try to ransomware you. And I was not going to pay them, so I just let that go. But I can't do two-step verification because of the email that I need, that it asks me to try to get access to in order to make progress is impossible. So I can't do two-step verification. So I need help.
Do you have access to the same phone number, or maybe did you?
Right, exactly. There's nothing. Yeah, there are no outlets that work. All those things fail. So that's why I drove to YouTube yesterday. I flew here from Maui, I drove to San Bruno to the headquarters to see if there was anybody that could, or if there's a phone number. Like there's no phone number for YouTube, so I couldn't even find that. So anyway, I got this phone number because I drove to the front door of YouTube yesterday and talked to security people. And they gave me this, and they took down my information, and they told me they'll try to get me some technical support. But they also said I could call this number and make an attempt. And so, and I showed them my ID. And I mean, I can prove that I am who I am.
You just tried to get into your Gmail account, but you don't have access to your
I don't have it.
recovery.
Right, I cannot recover my Gmail account. And exactly. Because, yeah, so.
So just to reiterate, we do not offer technical support on
Right.
the line, and we cannot get into account users'
Right.
information.
Okay.
Sadly, there is no technical support for Gmail since it's available to the public to make an account. So it's up to the user to have availability to log in, and the Gmail keeps track of what you do.
Right, and so there's absolutely no way to is there any way to, so there's no way to overcome any, I have to go to another social media platform in order to get monetized. I'll never be able to do it with YouTube, basically. Is that what you're telling me?
So I have a link here that I can provide you if you want to write it down. On how to recover your email.
Oh yeah, I know how to try it, but I've done that. But you can't, because if I give the phone number, it'll say call this phone number, and then for some reason it doesn't send a message to my phone, which is so strange. I don't know why. I've tried it 1,000 times, so I don't get that phone number text I need.
Your phone number is the same.
It's the one I'm filming on right now, is my other phone, but.
Is the phone number the one that you added onto your Gmail account when you signed up?
Yeah, exactly. That's the one, and it doesn't call me. It fails to call me and send me that message it says it's going to send me.
Your password to your email?
No, and I can't retrieve that because it goes to an email and that phone number that was ransomware, and that phone number, when it calls, it doesn't come through. It says it's going to send me a text at 385-5902, and then it doesn't. Nothing ever comes. I can't explain why that glitch happens.
When that previous years, I'm not sure why, but in all the letters it will say send code. You have to actually hit send code. Are you hitting send code?
Yes. Send code to 385-5902. That's what and nothing comes. I'll look for that again. But anyway, it's just me hitting my head against the wall over and over. I've been doing this for months. I can't succeed unless I can find somebody in that huge.
Are you able to reset your password on your recovery email?
No, there's no way to accomplish anything. Believe me, I've tried. I just need, if you could put in a different recovery email for me, but you can't. There's nobody that can help in any way in that huge corporation, which is so strange. I work in customer service. I've been waiting on people, serving them food with a personal touch for 35 years, and there's not one person that can give me 3 minutes of help that would solve all my problems. Like, just take down my bank information and push the button to monetize my account. It's so easy.
Yeah, I apologize because the Gmail is yours and it is only yours. Only you have access to your information.
Right. So I guess what you're telling me is I have no luck with YouTube. There's no way. I've been hoping I could monetize my channel for years, and I guess I'll never be able to.
Not recover your password onto your recovery email.
Nope,
I would start there.
I can't recover my password onto my recovery email. There is no recovery email, and there's no ability to do it. So
You have a recovery email.
yeah, which is compromised. It was hacked. Yeah. It was hacked. It was hacked, so I can't get to it. It's impossible. So I'm just out of luck. What's that?
Is it Yahoo?
No, that's the one I just gave a security guard yesterday. So maybe that'll pop up. Do you see that in there? A Maui Paddler at yahoo.com? Because
So just reiterate, we're not tech support.
oh, okay. So no, it's an MSN account. It's a No, it's MSN.
Yahoo, you're able to still obtain that.
Yeah,
But
no,
I believe you just
no.
have to send them like a photo ID.
Yeah, no, it's not Yahoo. It's MSN.
I'm gonna just go ahead and give you this link if you want to write it down.
Sure, yeah, I mean, I
I
guess.
know that you tried to recover, but I'm gonna give you this one because it walks you through the steps,
Okay,
and then it walks you through steps if you cannot get in.
okay. All right, thank you. Let's give it a shot.
And then, so that's gonna be the extent of my resources to help
Yeah,
you.
thank you. I know you're doing your best, so I'm not upset or anything. I'm just having to deal with reality. I mean, if you can imagine, it would be a really good deed if YouTube could help me monetize my channel after my house burned down and all my friends died. It would be like just nice, you know? But there is no human at YouTube and no system at YouTube that exists to help the content providers.
For the public to go to.
Right. Oh yeah, I understand. Or a phone number to talk to anybody, and that's all fine. I'm just now learning things the hard way, like I always do. It's the story of my life. I learned things the hard way. So that's what's happening right here. I just wasted 3 years investing in a YouTube channel that's never gonna pay me. Anyway, what's the? Please give me the link, and maybe I'll get lucky.
So it's gonna be one word. So it's gonna be
Gmail.
Gmail account.
Gmail
Recovery.
account. Recovery.
Dot
Blog. Dot spot.
Just blogspot, one word.
Oh, blogspot.
.com.
One word. Blogspot.
And I'm
.com.
gonna give you one more that you can look at, okay? And then this one will be on our support pages. And if these steps on this one does not help, you could check out the need for help at the way bottom, and it will be the community pages that will have the same issue or similar issue as you, and steps that they have gone to resolve their issue, and you can post on here too for help. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this one, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's going to be support.google.com/accounts with a S after the T
Account.
/answer
/answer.
/7299
Okay.
973.
Wonderful.
You want to go ahead and read that one back to me just so I know we have a match?
Yes, support.google.com/accounts with an S at the end /answer /799973.
So the number is going to be 7299973.
Okay, 72. Thank you. I did make a mistake. Aren't you thoughtful?
So go ahead and just read those over, and those are going to just walk you through the steps, okay? What would help too is maybe to be also on a familiar internet, so like maybe a friend or another family, anywhere that you've signed into your Gmail account, this will help as well. Because your Gmail account will recognize like similar internets that you've used to log in as well.
That probably won't happen much because my whole town burned down.
Oh, okay. So no library then? No nothing?
My whole town burned down. Every building in my whole town burned down. 2,000 buildings. It's the worst fire tragedy in American history.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No problem. I mean, I'm just stating facts. That's all. I'm not trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
It sounds like you didn't see this in the news, and or haven't heard it mentioned.
I'm sure my fiance did, though. I'll have to ask him when I see him later.
Yeah. So yeah, and if he wants to see some real footage, or if you're curious about all kinds of stuff, I got a YouTube channel. It's all good things and all good time.
Okay. Alrighty then. So, I apologize again that I couldn't be as more helpful, but please utilize the 2 sites that I gave you, and for the Google support page, please also utilize the community page as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your intentions to do your best to help me, even though there isn't really a system to do so. And that's okay. Like I said, I learn things the hard way. That's how my life goes sometimes. But then I learn them, you know. It only takes once.
Alrighty then. Please have a rest of a good day. And thank you for calling, okay?
Thank you. You have a great day.
Okay.
Aloha.
You too.
All right. 2 hours, 45 minutes later. That conversation is over. Thanks for being here for that. That was YouTube calling me back, telling me there's nothing they can do to help me. There is no customer service, no tech support, no help. I have to figure out how to go through my Gmail, which I can't verify. I can't retrieve my password. I can't reset my password. I can't get into it because of other accounts that have been compromised. Anyway, so we'll see. Maybe I'll overcome it. Maybe I'll start doing everything on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Oh, all that stuff's so gross. But whatever. If that's what I gotta do, I guess but God, it's gonna be hard for me. I'm like a freaking dinosaur. So, new things don't come that easy. Anyway, alright, so back to the story I was telling. So, my buddies, Jay and Daryl, that worked with me at Jake's, were super great snowboarders. And their roommates in summer of 96 was one of the guys who was on our first Olympic snowboarding team, Adam Hostetler, and his friend, Jeremy Jones. Nicest guy ever also. Super nice guys. So I went over to their house, and I'm hanging out with Jay and Daryl and Adam Hostetler and Jeremy Jones. And they're showing me videos of them competing to try to get to the Olympics, and showing me VCR videos of them snowboarding Alaska, which they had just done. Like, they just started to do that sort of thing, basically, which they would then do for the last 30 years they've been doing that stuff, right? So, and Jeremy Jones just did the most amazing movie from the Tetons. Oh my God. Gives me sweaty palms just to think about. It was so amazing. Anyway, Jeremy Jones in his 50s is still the most amazing snowboarder in the history of snowboarding. And so this day, I go over there, we hang out, we smoke a little weed, I skateboard down hills pretty fast on a longboard, so we skated down to the sunny side from their house. They lived up on Sequoia on the west side of Lake Tahoe, and they carved it out. I just freaking straight tuck, straight down. That's how I like to skateboard. And so that was cool. That was fun. And then we ate on the deck at the sunny side, hung out, and then these guys all they wanted to go rock climbing. So they went to this small rock to climb up, to have, short little fun rock climb. And I'm not a rock climber, but Jeremy Jones went up, set the rope, and they gave me the gear, so I was hooked in. And then they told me where to put my hands and feet, and I climbed up this cool little rock climbing spot on the west side of Lake Tahoe. And Jeremy Jones told me all the places to put my hands and feet, and he was super encouraging and kind, and just an overall great guy. All right, great guy. And then the last, 27 years later, that guy's the greatest, most accomplished snowboarder that ever lived. And that's pretty cool that I got to spend a day with the greatest snowboarder that ever lived. Second, maybe only to Noah Slasnick, the kid I grew up with, which is pretty cool. I still need to learn how to snowboard. I've done some snow skiing. I can do a little of that, but I've never become a snowboarder, and I should, because I like to skateboard. But anyway, that's my story for today. The day I got to spend with the greatest snowboarder of all time. Super nice guy. I've had a pretty fun life. And I get lucky a lot like that. So I got a story about Sean Penn coming up. Let's see. Who else? He's been in the news lately. Man, when I was 12, Fast Times at Ridgemont High came out. Boy, was that an influence on me, as I was a little 12-year-old pot smoker. Anyway. I'm going to write my next set of jokes I'm decided I'm going to do is just on one subject, any and all jokes and or stories related to travel and tourism, because I just, I work in it, and I just drove across the United States and back, and I'm playing the role of a tourist right now and loving the heck out of it, visiting all these wonderful people. So that's going to be my next, I'm going to start working on that, and I'm going to do it right here for you for free on YouTube. I'll never get paid on YouTube, but I'll probably just keep doing it anyway. And thanks for all you people who support my channel through Venmo and GoFundMe, because that's the only support my channel's ever going to get. It's all good. It's all good. It'll all make sense someday. If you're thinking about doing harm or crime, don't do less today. If you're a harm or crime committer, don't do anything today, and you will make the world a better place by doing less. All right. Don't do harm to yourself, so don't gamble. Gambling is evil and bad, ruins lives. Just a few things that can do that: shoving shit up your nose, taking pills, drunk driving, gambling, and the wrong relationship. All those things can destroy a person. So stay out of the wrong relationships. Don't put nothing up your nose. Don't be popping no pills. Don't be driving drunk, and don't be gambling. And by default, you will have an amazingly wonderful life. It's really pretty easy. Let's make the world a better place. Do something nice for somebody today, eh? And tip 20%. Aloha.